What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. We got Al in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Albert, Andy, Bill, Bob's in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Christopher, Doug, Dragon, just iPhone. Just we got technology taking over. Good morning to you, Jeff. Good morning. We got two Jeffs. Good morning to both of you. We got Lauren. Good morning to you, Lucian, Marius, Martina, Michelle, Mike, Ray. Tim is gonna rock with us. Good morning to everybody out in YouTube land. Hostile coming in number one spot on the YouTube chat. And all my lurkers in the background of YouTube, not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Well, we got a brand new week. Let's take a look at that weekly chart. What did we end up doing after all the craziness we had last week and the market was going to die and it was gonna be that was it. We closed green. So we still managed to close the SPY with a green candle. Was a little bit of a high wave candle, so that's going to be still, we got to get out of there. But good news, we stayed in the upper trend, so still continuing. Last time we had a big red candle was July 28th. We did the same thing there. We stayed in that trend. We had a little bit more confidence the weekend of August 4th than we probably did put in last week. But right now, until we break last week's low on SPY, I think that's your spot where things get sticky. Even if it does, now you're coming into that 20 EMA. You also have a good retest spot. Probably looks like a little support down to like 645.19, and then some more support down to like 630, 602. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, we're still crushing the long direction for now. Although it was kind of a wild week. A lot of volatility. The very difficult to get bullish trades to run to targets, bearish trades to run to targets, or by the time you were trying to get into a bearish trade, you were uh, already an hour and a half each day of selling, and then you get some kind of crazy bounce. But other than that, for today, you do have a little bit of a retest gap from Friday. I like this location as long as we're staying above this pivot at open. That looks decent. And then we have, I would say, at least one little support somewhere around 667.03. So watch that level. We'll see. I don't know how important that's going to be. I think that's going to be an important level just for the fact that we are gapping above the last two red day opens. So that is kind of strong, but you do have a little retest. So I would expect a little pullback. So we'll watch that first, 667.03. If that doesn't hold, you should have a really good strong level that I don't want to really see any of the days close below at this point, 664.61. So if we get a stronger pullback, a little bit more powerful of a pullback, watch that spot. Otherwise, you do have one small one right in front of you that could hold us up. Other than that, target to the higher side, not a lot of room. We got 669.01. The next spot that would take us into a really good retest. We've already kind of retested the zone. That would be 670.53. Maybe we get through it. Then you got 671.97 and 672.95. So a couple areas of resistance above us. See if we see if we can get through it. I don't know if we probably need some kind of catalyst or news, but we got earnings season coming in full blast, starting last week with the banks, and we'll see if we get some more continued positivity out of some of the earnings cues. Let's go to that weekly candle. Same thing. Big bearish engulfing candle. Q's looking strong. We'll see what happens, but we are almost at the opening price. Also, retest gap. If we're doing a full body retest on this one, you're looking for like a 604.11 hold. Otherwise, if we start getting above the opening price from October 6th, that's going to take us into 608.45. So anything above that, and we're just playing around with that wick and looking for new all-time highs. Let's see on the daily basis. Daily basis, again, Friday was a green day. Good looking open. I like the fact that we're opening above the 605.08. I'm going to use that as a little bit of a longer term support. We'll see if that holds. Otherwise, we got a couple resistance right in front of us. 608.48, and then you have two levels very close together. 610 flat and 610.09. So 610.09 is where we got to start to break through. We have not been up there to really retest that zone yet. But I would see if there's a small pullback first. For Qs, I'm looking for like 605.08, see if that holds, and we'll see if we take off from there. Bitcoin, BTC, USD had a little bit of a wild weekend. We were What day was this? This is Friday. Friday's lows, we got into like this 103, 560 zone, which we were watching for support somewhere around big support right around this 108, 515 zone. And yeah, that was not a good candle breakdown. Interesting to see that volume come in as we look like we're about to plummet, getting below that 200. When I say plummet, I mean 95K. So still staying strong, but a little bit more to go. Other than that, good rebounds. We did not close. This candle's still open, but as of today, we are above that red high volume candle. We are back above the 200. So bulls trying to come in, trying to save this thing. We are back above that 108 zone, 108, 500. So we'll see if it gets taken out. First sign, I would like to see a close today above 111, 496. You still got some resistance above us, but that would be a strong close, and then we'll see if we get back above those moving averages. So trying to recover gold, GLD, of course. Yep, we're not scared of any extremely high volume red bearish engulfing candles. I don't why be scared? Jumping up all-time highs at open for today, and that looks super strong still. Let's see SLV. We have a gap and go for today. That one's a little bit less impressive. Inside day candle, and then you have opening right into a resistance 47.86, and then you got 48.88. I got some tickers coming in. Let's take a look at those. Tesla with a nice little gap up for today. Um, it is a retest gap. If we do get a full-on retest, you got 433.52. This entire market, you can find the closest levels, and then it seems to just go to the most extreme support. So maybe we do get down to there today, and then a really deep sell-off takes us into like 435.73. Other than that, even though it's a retest gap, see if we get a small pullback. Let's see if we can hold 443.20. That's my first kind of big support. If we start breaking that, I'm looking for that full retest. Otherwise, right around that 443.20. You do have one more resistance above you. That's going to take us into 448.51. Anything past that, you have a really good trade that will take you up to like 460. That's another almost $9 to the higher side, and then you've got nothing but free space to run up until about 470. So I'll put this one a little bit higher on the list. Again, you still have that one resistance. It is a retest gap from Friday, and I think we're going to see a lot of those little retests. If this one wants to pull back down a little bit more, we definitely have some good risk reward even if we don't break through 448.51 at that point. Otherwise, anything else, we're hoping we can break through that first resistance. Looks good. The other thing that's impressive on Tesla is the last kind of bigger volume candle will take us October 10th. And we are still no, we're gapping above that candle at this point. Uh, but yeah, good close on Friday, taking us above and closing above that candle as well. So not only that, the last biggest candle volume wise is this candle right here, October 25th, and we are opening above the VPOC. So starting to squeeze some of the bears. I like it bullish. Yeah, let's see if that 442.41. Let's see if that's a good spot that Tesla wants to hold on that big volume candle. MU, good looking gap up. I've got no levels higher. We are at all-time highs. This is a retest as well. Really good gap. Tons and tons of volume came in on Thursday. And let's see if that's going to be our support for today. If we do pull back to a 315, otherwise a nice gap like this opening to all-time highs. When is their earnings? Yeah, I think we got time for their earnings. Yeah, we don't December something. So plenty of time for earnings. Nothing else getting in the way except maybe earnings from some sympathy companies. If those companies don't do well, maybe MU pulls back with them. But right now, it looks like all the earnings are probably expected to be pretty decent. Apple is a monster gap up. This is a crazy market. There's a nice gap up on Apple. Again, retest gap. I don't think I want to see this one fully retest. Maybe longer term we get back down to 252.43. I don't think we get there today. There's a lot of support. I would expect getting into these all-time highs for Apple that we do see a little struggle up here. The big zone we want to pass and close to say we're going to all-time highs, and it's not too far from all-time highs. So really not that impressive of a statement. But we got 258.50. If we could start clearing that, that would look good. 258.10 should be a big resistance. Before we get there for today, you got 257.56. I'd see if this one pulls back. I don't know that we can break through that. My guess is that we probably can. But we might see a bigger pullback first. Watch for 256.10. If that doesn't hold, another big level 254.03 in a longer term sense before that gap fill comes in. So see if there's but again, October 10th, that Friday market that was it. That was the top, and now we're opening above that candle. So looks really good longer term for Apple. Day trade wise, could be a little sticky for that one for today. SoundHound, SOUN. SoundHound, nice gap up on this one. This one's got plenty of room higher. Uh, Friday also did close as a red day, so you're squeezing a couple more, maybe bears out. Target on this one takes you to about $20.78. And then if you get a little bit higher than that, you got 21.15 on the table. Other than that, let's see if we get a small pullback on this one. It is inside day candle. First spot I'd be looking is about 1956. That would be a really good return. So out of everything, that red candle, that's going to help us a lot. A little bit of a bigger pullback. If that support does not hold, that's only one candle. Maybe comes down to like 1919. Would be a secondary spot, full on retest, which I would expect to hold 1887. So those are the three spots. I don't really want to see that last one hit. I think we get good risk reward at 1921, and then even 1953. There's a lot of room higher. So we'll get SoundHound up. We'll see if we could work on that one in a bullish direction. Hood. Hood is not bad. That was a good retest spot that we came down to. So we had a few pivots. We almost made it down to this one. Not quite, but we have about 122.62, 122 flat. Other than that, good retest spot. We got to 127.17. Looks like we're trying to hold it for now. You do have a little bit of resistance on this one, 134.62. If this one wants to pull back a little bit further, two spots I would look for is 131.59. If that can't hold, I think a good retest of Friday's VPOC somewhere around 129.24. I don't know if I'd be bullish out of the gate on this one. I think I would be at least waiting for 131.59, see what happens from there. If we can hold that, you might even have a decent swing trade on Robinhood. I would see when earnings November 5th. So you still have about 2 weeks roughly. Not bad. Um, I think that's a really, really impressive spot if we get down to 131.72. I think for a swing trade basis and a day trade basis. So we'll see if that does want to pull back, retest a little bit, see if some of those scared bulls want to take some gains at open, and then let's see if we come in after that. Guy Hims, not as impressive. Lots of volume came in on Friday, kind of a decent breakdown candle for Hims. I think he will get a full retest into $50.93. I would put that in a highly likely category. Potential for continuation to the downside if it doesn't hold. You have a lot of resistance we got to climb back through. So for the bull case, that volume candle, at least we did make it back above that VPOC. I think that should be a good little support for today on it as well. And then I think also on a day trade basis, even though the rest of the chart doesn't look good, you have a lot of additional resistance you're gonna have to climb through in a long term. On a day trade basis, I think you have a good spot up to like 53.10. So you get about $2. Maybe you could kind of run into almost looks like the 618 of that candle. That would take us into 54.31. So I think those two spots for today, having a stop at the low of Friday, that could get you a decent risk reward into a bullish direction. So even though the daily chart doesn't look good, I don't think I'd be picking up a swing trade here, but on a day trade basis, drop a little bit more, and I think we could look for that one. CLF. They had news or earnings. I think they had earnings. Yep. Yep. So this morning, missing earnings per share by 1%. Then you got a Revenue to the negative side, surprise of 162 million, so not terrific. Doesn't matter. Market loving it. I don't know what the guidance was, but after seeing those numbers and scrolling out, I was looking to the downside first. I don't know. It's a good gap though. I think probably a mixed bag on earnings. Check in to see what the guidance was on this one. I have no idea. You have a little bit of resistance here. I think I'd probably look for more of a fade on Cliff. I think that's probably I don't know. I don't know what their short float is. I don't think it's incredibly high, but I think I'd be looking for a fade on this one. I don't think it'd be a buyer at open, and you have decent amount of room to the downside on that one. CRCL. Circle is on a swing trade basis. Not bad. Good double bottom from Friday. I think you're probably catching some bears maybe off guard today. Although that candle from Thursday did not have a lot of volume, the next real big candle, the OK candle will be 137.17. So I think anything above that, you really start to maybe squeeze some of the bears out, and then anything above 140, and I think that pushes you. So you have plenty of room up into that. You do have a good double bottom on it. I think this was one that probably fades first. Again, maybe we could look for that full-on retracement, 126.20. Before you got that, you have decent support somewhere around 129.02. I think that's where I'd be looking for some kind of a double bottom, high wave candle, hammer, or something like that, intraday on like a 3 or 5 minute chart, right around that 129.02 zone. See if you get a decent intraday setup. But that looks good for a potential swing. I kind of like it, but until you start really getting above 140, and that's about $10 higher, that would be your confirmation. So you got to get above 140 on this one. Otherwise, probably a little chop. I think buying it off that 129.02 can get you decent risk reward. We got TTD. Dale, what's happening, Dale? We got TTD, good gap up. That is a retest if I've ever seen one. Still inside day candle. I think if you're trying to go long, you got to be patient on this one. Wait for 49.98. Other than that, your next resistance on this one, $50.67. Then you got 50.74. If you get a close above 50.74, this thing starts to look a little bit stronger. But for now, you do have a gap up. The rest of the market's kind of gapping too, probably lending a hand to it. I think pulling back to $50, $50.01 would be an interesting spot on this one. We've cleared the 20 before, so we could do it again. We've also gotten candles that close above the high volume zone, 53.62. If we get some kind of a bounce here, that could be a decent inverted head and shoulders. So not bad for a swing trade. You got your neckline up here, and I think your early early tell in TTD is if we can get above that high moving average, but not looking too bad. Earnings are coming out very soon, November 6th, so you still got about 2 weeks on it. But longer term, good double bottom on this secondary leg of that double bottom, potential inverted head and shoulders, lots of room to the higher side. But for today, I'd see if you get that pullback as you have that resistance right in front of you. Mara. Mara is interesting. We know Bitcoin's trying to recover a little bit. Uh, you have one tiny resistance, $20.83. If we get above it, you got plenty of room up to 22.15. That's not bad. High wave indecision candle on Friday, right above the 20 EMA. I'd see if I think if it comes down to this 1959, that's you get really good risk reward. I don't know that it gets there today. It's kind of a little bit of a decent gap. Watch for like $20.28. See if we pull back a little. Your next real high volume candle is from October 10th. And yeah, that's the spot you got to take out. $20.85. So that's my target today for the higher side. If at any point we start breaking it, I'd be a little bit stronger leaning bullish. But good uptrends. I think you probably get a decent retest, and that's like a 10% move just into that next resistance. Never mind if we get to the furthest one that we've never retested, 2293. So not bad. Yeah, I would like to see a small, at least a small pullback. I don't know if I want to see Friday's candle to the VPOC, that 1957 zone, but if it does, even for a swing at that point, decent, decent momentum. Tim says they said their mines have the possibility of yielding some rare earth metals. Oh, for CLF. I was gonna say I don't think Mara's in that business. All right. Well, we'll see. So there's the news as to why the gap, but they good time on that news. This is you want IWM. Okay. IWM looks too much like Mara. That is the same exact high wave can. I would have to double check to make sure the chart switched. That looks exactly the same. Oddly enough. But again, I would say same analysis too. Just different prices. Just look for 244.92 on a pullback. Full on retest of Friday's candle would be 243. You did have a little bit more volume than Mara had on that breakdown candle. So I think you're got a much better support at 244.85. You're opening right into a resistance. I don't know how significant that resistance is. There was no volume, very little volume, I should say, on that candle from October 8th, where today's resistance is. Even that next target, it had a little bit more volume before that breakdown, but it is a red candle, so I'll put a little more weight to it. So 246.99. But I think for today, again, see if we get a little tiny pullback, 244.92. We'll see how much jitters the bulls have today in this market. Let me see if there's any other tickers. Did I miss any? Yep, let me know if there's anything else that you guys want to take a look at. We've covered the list so far, and then we'll just take a little journey throughout my list. We got Nvidia is very slow to load. Let me take some of these lines off. Nope, can't even do it. There we go. Yep. Nvidia, good open on this one. Bullish engulfing candle from Friday. First spot, we'll see if, and you also got your 20 for support there. Small little pullback on Nvidia, 182.98. If that does not hold, watch for that secondary one where it's like almost okay, I got to go to that next level because this market just the volatility. You got 182.22, that'd be an interesting spot as well. Otherwise, in terms of target for today, Nvidia doesn't have much in the way until besides just those two candles, almost tweezers. But in terms of volume, nothing really till about 185.69. And at that point, getting above those two candles looked pretty impressive. That would take you to 185.96 with the potential massive, massive spot 187.53. I'm actually gonna move this one quite a bit higher as well. High wave candles, small pullback, something like that. Give me a little bit better risk reward, but that's got a lot of room. Aklo. Aklo is chilling for today. It is a gap up. It's also a retrace gap as well. Opening at a resistance. Um, Not bad, but I'm gonna need this one to drop $5, $4 first. Get me back to 163.93. I think we can get there. You actually have better risk reward to the bear side at open than to the bull side, unless for some reason we're just gonna assume that 172.38 gets taken out. So a little bit of resistance where we're open. Even if we take that out, you got about $4 more to the higher side. If you think it could at least get to that, okay, you have a shot. But yeah, I'd see if this one get this pull back to 163.75, somewhere in that zone. APLD, it's got some room at open. It is a gap and go for today. You're just inside this Friday candle. Targets on this one would take you to about 36.13. We've almost already hit that on Friday, so that's probably going to be a little bit weaker, although still there. And then maybe your target on this one takes you to about 37.39, somewhere in that zone. Let's push this one a little bit higher. Um, the problem for this one, for me, is technically you don't have support You don't have actual support until you get down to like 34.29 again, which takes us into the right about that closing price of Friday's candle. If you want to try to get a little more aggressive on it, well, two things. One, maybe if you get a small pullback, I think you can at least get to 35.03 being an inside candle. But then I have to see if I can get some kind of intraday setup, something that looks good at that level to make it worth it on the trade. But you have a decent amount of room to the higher side on this one. It's just a matter of how you can get in, and I'll probably need some intraday candles to help maybe build the case with some kind of double bottom, something like that. Oscar is plenty of room on this one. I think we probably get up, it's still inside day candles, a little bit of gap and go. If they don't want to just open and run this one, which target would be, I guess you got target to like $20.29. After that, you got $20.42. But if you could get down to this 1937, I think something like Oscar might start to pick up. We're off of all-time highs. The Qs look good today. Otherwise, healthcare started to pick up a little bit last week. In general, Oscar didn't really feel too much of it, kind of closing a little bit to the weak side. Let's see where that weekly candle is. Risk to reward side of things, not bad on Oscar. You're probably going to throw a stop somewhere around 1863. So I would look at this maybe more of a swing. But you have some decent levels. Again, bearish pressure coming in with that inverted hammer on a weekly chart. So not fantastic on that. Other than that, though, good risk reward to a bull side if you like it bullish. And maybe underneath that red candle. If not, you want to come a little higher, right underneath last week's low for some kind of stop placement. Meta. Meta is kind of annoying the last week. Really didn't do anything. In fact, what does that weekly candle look like? There you go. High wave candle. Two high wave candles in a row. For today though, I do like this open. You're still gonna have to contend with the 20 and the 50, so we'll see what happens on that one. You have your first resistance 725.54. Not too far after that, you got 725.99. So those are two big levels. But we've built in really the last 2 weeks, really good support. This is a retest gap, even on that red candle, which would be a gap and go. That's still inside day candle. I think if you get a pullback on this one, maybe get down to 716.49, you should have a little bit of a base for support. Um, and then I think you got the earnings, which for a swing trade basis might be they've every time they've had earnings recently, especially they've been crushing it, monster gap ups. I wouldn't really expect revenue to be drastically different or weaker. I think maybe buy that dip before the earnings come out would be an interesting place. So you could have a run up prior to earnings on it. APP, and then we'll see what the rest of the market's doing as the market just opened. App loving for today. Right now, inside day candle, a little bit of a gap down, but you are holding support. For support, let's see if this holds 592.96, and then you got 588.64. After that, should be a decent support. Other than that, kind of looks a little choppy still, and you have a few resistance above you. Other than that, everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like.